Thank you for choosing to view my presentation today. My name is Courtney Lane, and I have chosen to do my presentation on the child welfare system, which includes many different fields such as adoption, parent supervision, and foster care, which shall be my focus for today. The foster care system is a system to care for children who can no longer be cared for by their parents or guardians. The foster care system is comprised of a combination of single-family foster care homes and group homes depending on availability of facilities, the willingness of available foster parents, and the needs of individual children. How do children become a part of the foster care system? A child can end up entering into the care of the state foster care system for a variety of reasons. For example, physical or sexual abuse, neglect, death or incarceration of a parent or guardian, or abandonment. This is not to say that these are the only ways in which children end up in the foster care system, but rather I just named the most common reasons. No matter what the reason is for the child ending up in state foster care, it is important that we let the child know that they are in no way at fault for their circumstances. As hard as those running the foster care system try, growing up as a foster child is simply not ideal. The effects of growing up in the foster care system vary from child to child, of course, but some common effects include a loss of sense of stability and security that is so crucial for growing children, problems controlling their anger, depression, blaming themselves for circumstances or the fate of their parents, guardians, or siblings, and a myriad of attachment problems. Meet Judith Settler. She is a social worker in the Florida foster care system and graciously agreed to have me interview her on April 3, 2015. She is employed by an organization called the Agency for Community Treatment Services, also called ACTS. Its mission statement is to give dependent adolescent girls a loving, nurturing, safe, supportive environment where compassionate personnel can guide their growth through individual treatment services. Judith's position within ACTS is that of a program supervisor. She puts together plans in order to keep the agency running smoothly and acts as the supervisor to the direct service workers. These service workers supervise the children who are a part of the foster care system, who have been or are struggling with drug dependency issues and/or psychotic disorders. The goals of these workers are to utilize client-centered care in order to achieve diagnosis-specific interventions, empathetic communication regarding addiction, mental illness counseling, and additional counseling to achieve recovery and to give hope for the future. Judith's agency is a sizable operation, employing over 300 employees in the state of Florida alone, 26 of those being in the Fort Lauderdale location that Judith is stationed in. The ACTS program is funded through a contract with the agency ChildNet, and additionally are contracted through Medicare to provide behavioral health overlay services. The ACTS program deals with teenage girls ages 12 to 17 in the foster care system with higher-end behavioral issues. Judith's position within ACTS does not always give her direct access with the children she is helping, but she does have contact with them at times as she conducts the initial interviews for placement in the program. She is also on site and visits all of their facilities at least a few times a week and assists with the quarterly house meetings for the ARIS program. The ARIS program, which stands for Accountability, Respect, Responsibility, Integrity, and Self-Esteem, is a program for girls ranging from ages 12 to 17 that places them in fully staffed, 24-hour-a-day, 7-day-a-week supervised private homes in the style of residential group care. The girls are given their own space and are encouraged to let their personalities show through decoration of their personal spaces and communication with the staff or other residents. For those girls who are on the older end of the spectrum, special care is given to prepare them for aging out, as they are taught necessary life skills as they prepare for independent living. The other positions at ACT include direct care workers, those who work with and supervise the girls daily in their group home settings, and clinicians who provide therapy, crisis intervention, treatment planning, and case management, and maintenance workers who uphold the physical integrity of the facilities. An example of a difficult type of case that they deal with at ACTS are working with girls who have been or may become victims of human trafficking, particularly sex trafficking, due to their lack of true familial support to keep them grounded in a healthy lifestyle. Judith states that we often can't compete with what the streets offer them. When asked what she loves best about her position within ACTS, Judith stated the flexible hours she is able to keep and the lack of restriction when it comes to where she works. She states that she sometimes works in her car, at home, at a park, or anywhere else that she pleases. When it came to the most difficult part of her job, she referenced that being on call 24 hours a day, 7 days a week would be the hardest part for her. When asked about the strengths and weaknesses of her agency, Judith stated that her administrative staff that she works very closely with is a very efficient, cohesive team that supports one another very well. But when it came to the weaknesses, she stated that the low wages of the direct care workers was probably the lowest point in their agency, seeing as such an intensive and important role only pays $9.62 per hour. The biggest macro issue that Judith sees when it comes to her work is the sheer number of children that need to be cared for in the foster care system. They take at her agency ACTS the most drastic cases, but still, they can only do so much, and she wishes that more could be done and they could open more housing to help more children, but it's simply not possible at this time. After learning all that I did about this agency, I believe that I would very much like to work in an agency such as this one someday. Although I see that long hours and little pay are involved, I think the rewards would by far outweigh the costs. They should be expecting a copy of my resume upon graduation. For more information about ACTS in Florida, you can go to the link I've provided at actsflorida.org.